The stage lights blaze down on the polished floor of Britain's Got Talent, reflecting in the nervous eyes of the contestant waiting behind the curtain. His name is Miguel Santos, a 28-year-old singer from Cebu, Philippines. Dressed simply in a white shirt, jeans, and worn leather shoes, he clutches the microphone like it's his lifeline. The muffled roar of the crowd makes his heart race faster. Next up, we have Miguel Santos from the Philippines, the host announces. The audience offers polite applause as Miguel steps into the spotlight. For a brief moment, he freezes. Thousands of eyes are on him, including those of Simon Cowell, Amanda Holden, and the other judges seated behind the desk. Simon leans forward, scanning Miguel with his usual critical expression. "So, Miguel, tell us a bit about yourself," he says. Miguel smiles nervously. "Good evening, everyone. I'm from the Philippines, and singing has always been my dream. I grew up listening to Elvis Presley. My father used to play his records every day." The crowd lets out a few encouraging cheers. "And what will you be singing tonight?" Simon asks. Miguel takes a breath. "I'll be singing Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis Presley." Simon raises an eyebrow. "That's a big song," he says, half smiling. "Let's see if you can do it justice." The music starts softly, the familiar melody of Elvis's classic fills the hall. Miguel closes his eyes, steadying his nerves. For a second, everything fades, the lights, the crowd, the pressure. It's just him and the song. Then he opens his mouth and begins to sing, his voice rich, soulful, and pure. Within moments, the audience grows silent. Even Simon's skeptical look begins to change. The first note leaves Miguel's lips like a soft ripple across still water. The crowd, mid-whisper a moment ago, goes silent almost instantly. His voice is smooth, golden, and full of emotion, not just imitation, but transformation. The familiar opening of Can't Help Falling in Love carries through the theater, and suddenly, it feels as if Elvis himself has returned, reincarnated in this humble Filipino singer. The judges exchange surprised looks. Amanda Holden's eyes widen. Alicia Dixon rests her chin on her hand, visibly moved. Even Simon Cowell, known for his unshakable composure, leans back in his chair, eyebrows raised in genuine surprise. Miguel stands still in the center of the stage, his hand gripping the microphone tightly but his voice unwavering. Each lyric flows with emotion, raw, heartfelt, and honest. It's not just a performance, it's a story. The way he sings about love feels personal, as though every word was written for him. When he reaches the second verse, something magical happens. People in the audience start to sway. A woman in the front row wipes away a tear. The camera pans across the crowd, no one is looking away. Miguel's confidence grows with every note. He closes his eyes, adding a slight vibrato to his tone, his voice echoing beautifully through the hall. For those few minutes, time seems to stop. As he approaches the final line, "Take my hand, take my whole life too," his voice soars, pure and powerful. The music fades, leaving silence, a silence thick with awe. Then, like a thunderclap, the audience erupts into applause. People rise to their feet, cheering, shouting his name. Miguel exhales, eyes shining. For the first time, he allows himself to believe, he's done something extraordinary. The final note of Miguel's song still hangs in the air, echoing like a memory. The audience's cheers grow louder, filling the grand theater with applause and whistles. Miguel stands frozen, hardly believing the wave of love washing over him. But what captures everyone's attention now are the faces of the judges. Simon Cowell's usual stern expression has melted into something rare, genuine amazement. He leans forward, resting his elbows on the desk, eyes locked on Miguel. "Wow," he murmurs, almost under his breath. Amanda Holden looks at him, wide-eyed. "He sounds just like Elvis," she whispers, "but better." The camera zooms in on Simon, who can't seem to stop shaking his head in disbelief. "That's unbelievable," he finally says, his voice picked up by the microphone. "You've taken a legend song and somehow made it your own. That's not easy. It's magic." The audience roars again, chanting Miguel's name, Miguel. Miguel. As he stands there, overwhelmed, one hand on his heart. Tears shimmer in his eyes, but he fights to keep his composure. Alicia Dixon leans into her microphone, smiling. "Miguel, that was spine-tingling. You brought warmth, heart, and soul. I think even Elvis would be proud of you tonight." The crowd cheers louder. Miguel's hands tremble as he whispers, "Thank you," barely audible over the noise. Simon glances at his fellow judges and then looks back at Miguel with a rare grin. "You know," he says, pausing for dramatic effect, "I've been doing this for a long time. I've heard a lot of Elvis covers, but that," he points toward Miguel, "might just be better than Elvis." The theater explodes in screams and applause. Miguel bows deeply, his dream shimmering before his eyes. He's not just a contestant anymore, he's a sensation in the making. Confetti waits above the stage, hidden in golden cannons, as the cheers refuse to die down. Miguel stands motionless, overwhelmed by the roar of the crowd. The judges are on their feet, even Simon Cowell, who rarely stands for anyone. Cameras flash, catching every tear that glistens in Miguel's eyes. Amanda Holden leans forward first, smiling warmly. "Miguel," she says, "that was extraordinary. You didn't just sing, you touched everyone here." Her voice trembles slightly as the audience applauds again. Alicia Dixon adds, "There are singers who perform, and then there are artists who make you feel. You are absolutely the latter. That was world-class." Miguel nods, speechless. His hands shake as he grips the microphone tighter. The energy in the theater feels electric, as if something incredible is about to happen. Then, without a word, Simon Cowell looks at the big golden buzzer in front of him. The audience senses it, the tension builds. Everyone screams, "Hit it! Hit it!" Simon grins slightly, then slams his hand down. Boom! The golden confetti explodes from above, showering the stage in sparkling light. Miguel gasps, dropping to his knees as the music swells. His face turns upward, tears streaming freely. He can hardly breathe. The hosts rush out to hug him, and the crowd rises in unison, clapping and cheering his name. Simon shouts over the noise, "That was unforgettable. You brought Elvis back to life tonight, and somehow made him Filipino." Miguel laughs through his tears, pressing a hand to his heart. The lights shine brighter, golden flakes floating all around him. This is the moment he dreamed of his entire life, the moment that will change everything. By the next morning, Miguel Santos is no longer just a name on a contestant list, he's a global headline. The video of his performance spreads like wildfire. On YouTube, it racks up 1 million views in a single night. TikTok clips of Simon Cowell hitting the golden buzzer flood everyone's feeds, captioned with phrases like, "The Filipino who outshined Elvis," and "Simon Cowell can't believe his ears." News anchors across the world replay the moment. BBC Entertainment calls him, "the voice that transcended generations." A popular US morning show plays the clip, the host declaring, "This might be the greatest audition we've ever seen." Even in the Philippines, streets buzz with pride, jeepney drivers play Miguel's song, students hum it between classes, and families gather around televisions to cheer for their countrymen. Miguel himself can hardly process it all. In his hotel room, surrounded by congratulatory messages and flashing notifications, he stares at his phone in disbelief. "Mom," he says during a video call, his voice trembling, "they said I'm trending, all over the world." His mother wipes her tears on the screen and replies, "You did it, Anak. You made us proud." Later, during an interview, a reporter asks, "Simon Cowell said you might be better than Elvis. What do you think about that?" Miguel smiles humbly. "No one can ever replace Elvis," he says softly. But if my voice can remind people of that kind of music, and make them feel something real, then I've done what I came here to do. The camera zooms out as Miguel waves, a Filipino flag draped over his shoulders. The crowd chants his name once more. He came to chase a dream, and ended up becoming a legend.